The UFC loves to sell you glory, epic knockouts, legends made in blood, rivalries that echo through history.
Highly competitive until round 3, when Miocic poked the eyeballs out of Cormier.
Big right hand by Stipe.
But for every poster, every highlight, every face of the company moment, there are memories they'd rather stay buried. Brawls that spilled out of the cage.
I do not miss.
Scandals that stained reputations. Injuries so gruesome the cameras had to look away. Tonight, we're digging them up. And these are the moments the UFC doesn't want on their highlight reel, but fans will never forget. And trust me, the last one on this list is still one of the most controversial nights in MMA history. Let's dive in. The infamous post-fight brawl, UFC 229. It's October 6, 2018, Las Vegas. The biggest fight in UFC history. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor. Build-up was pure chaos. Conor's insults weren't just trash talk, they were personal. He mocked Khabib's religion, his father, his country.
Here's my location, you little fool, right in front of you. Do something about it. Do something about it. Yeah, you'll do nothing.
Inside the cage, Khabib silenced everything. 4 rounds of dominance. Then he choked McGregor till the Irishman tapped.
To the neck. There it is. Nope, it's on the chin. There's the tap.
Victory, but Khabib wasn't done. As soon as he let go, he scaled the cage like a predator going for fresh prey. Leaping into McGregor's corner and throwing himself into Dylan Dennis. Suddenly, fists flew. Security swarmed. The world's biggest fight ended in pure chaos. Inside the cage, Khabib's teammates stormed McGregor. Outside the cage, the crowd erupted into near riot. On live pay-per-view, the UFC's proudest moment turned into its ugliest. The Nevada Commission handed down fines and suspensions. Dana White's face said it all. This was supposed to be their crowning jewel. Instead, it was a PR disaster. But here's the twist. Was it really? Fans still debate if Khabib went too far, or if it was just karma for Conor's venom. Either way, UFC 229 was proof some rivalries don't end at the bell, they explode. The Phantom Tap UFC 117, August 10th in Oakland, California. For 4.5 rounds, Chael Sonnen was doing the unthinkable, breaking Anderson Silva. The champ looked mortal. Sonnen's ground and pound smothered the man they called untouchable. Fans could feel it. History was seconds away. Then came the triangle choke. Out of nowhere, Silva locked it in. Sonnen tapped, the crowd erupted. But replays told a different story. Flick of the hand just seconds earlier, a motion that looked suspiciously like a tap, the Phantom Tap.
A record-setting win. Triangle! Watch out! Triangle! This is trouble! He's got his legs across. That's what's...
Some swore they saw Sonnen submit before the choke was deep. Others said it was just a hand adjustment, but the seed was planted. Had the fight already been over before it was over? The UFC never addressed it. No rematch came immediately. Instead, the official record stood Silva by submission. But the controversy never died. For over a decade, fans still argue if Sonnen actually tapped twice. Was Silva's legacy protected, or did the UFC look the other way to avoid a scandal in one of their biggest fights? It didn't matter in the long run. Sonnen never got the belt. Silva's reign continued, but the Phantom Tap became one of those moments where what you think you saw feels more real than the official record. The 0.9-second knockout. June 2009, UFC 102. Todd Duffy, a 23-year-old heavyweight monster making his debut. Across from him, veteran Tim Hague. The fight started and ended in a blink. Duffy launched a jab so fast, so clean.
Well, they're touching now. Looking to finish him.
Hague collapsed before most fans even realized the fight had begun. The official time, 7 seconds.
See again, he gets knocked down by the jab. Couple right hands, but look at this left. Bang! Out goes the left.
Slow motion replay showed the first punch landed at 0.9 seconds, less than 1 second. A knockout before your brain even registers the start. It should have been a record-breaking celebration. Instead, fans called foul. Some claim the stoppage was too quick, that Haig could have recovered. Others argue the UFC used it to hype Duffy as the next big thing. But Duffy's career never matched the promises. Injuries, losses, and layoffs kept him from superstardom, which left that one knockout as his legacy. The UFC loved the viral clip, but deep down, they knew the story wasn't what they wanted. Instead of the birth of a new legend, it became a strange footnote, the fastest KO that almost didn't count. The Victor Belfort TRT era, 2012 through 2014, the UFC's Wild West of medicine. Testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, illegal, prescribed, but in the octagon, it turned fighters into monsters. None more terrifying than Vitor Belfort. Head kicks.
I do not miss. There it is again.
Knockouts, a second career surge that looked less than a comeback and more like science fiction. Belfort's body transformed. His performances devastating. Fighters feared TRT Vitor like a comic book villain. But fans weren't stupid. They saw the change. They saw the unfair advantage. Critics called it legalized cheating. Fighters who lost to him cried foul. By 2014, the Nevada Commission banned TRT altogether. And with it, Belfort's run ended. The TRT era closed, leaving fans to wonder how many wins were pure skill and how many came from chemistry. The UFC doesn't bring it up anymore because it wasn't just about Belfort. It was about a loophole that made the sport look less like fighting and more like pharmacy. Anderson Silva's leg break, UFC 168, December 28, 2013.
MMA, nice leg kick by Irvin. And Irvin's in trouble already. That's Silva trying to finish it. Done.
Anderson Silva, the Spider, a man who built his empire on precision striking, bending physics, and breaking opponents. But on that night against Chris Weidman, it wasn't an opponent who broke. It was Silva. Second round, Silva throws a vicious leg kick. Weidman checks it perfectly, and then, snap! Anderson's shin folded in half.
Watch this. He checks it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Wrapping grotesquely around Weidman's leg. The arena went dead silent. Commentators refused to replay it live. Cameras cut away. The UFC had built Silva as invincible, and in 1 second, invincible became human, fragile, breakable. It was a moment the UFC buried as quickly as possible, but it lives forever in fans' nightmares. The miracle? A year later, Silva returned. Titanium rotted his leg, but the same man who had been carried out in agony walked back into the octagon. It proves something deeper. Legends can fall, but they rise too, even when the UFC tries to hide the fall. Next, Jon Jones and the no contest title fight, UFC 214. 2017, Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier.
Cormier once again sends Jones retreating.
He's just having a hard time reaching Jon. Oh, Jon.
The rivalry of all rivalries. DC had the belt. Jones had the shadow. Their hate for each other was personal. Fans tuned in not just for a fight, but for war. And Jones delivered a third-round head kick, brutal ground and pound.
A hard time reaching Jon. Oh, Jon landed a high kick. He's hurt.
DC was stunned by that head kick.
Cormier collapsed. Jones reclaimed his throne. Tears, triumph, redemption. The UFC erased Jones' crowning moment. Instead of redemption, it became scandal. Jones insisted he was innocent. Mistake, contamination, excuse after excuse. But critics said it didn't matter. His legacy would always carry an asterisk. The UFC wanted Jones to be their GOAT. Instead, he became their greatest what if. A fighter so great, yet so self-destructive. That night was supposed to close the Jones-Cormier saga. Instead, it opened a new chapter, one that UFC still struggles to explain. The eye poke that changed everything. 2020, UFC 252. Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier III. The final fight of a legendary trilogy.
Highly competitive until round 3, when Miocic poked the eyeballs out of Cormier.
Big right hand by Stipe. Oh.
Both men had wins, both had pride. This was the decider. But in the third round, disaster. Miocic's finger went straight into Cormier's eye. Not a graze, a deep, damaging poke. Cormier fought on. Half blind, his vision permanently scarred. He lost the fight, but Fans questioned everything. Did the injury decide the outcome? Should the fight have been stopped? The UFC brushes past it. No big replays, no acknowledgement beyond the basics. But DC himself admitted later.
The guy went knuckle deep in my eye. It was a torn cornea.
You don't see right now?
I can't see anything out of my left eye.
Black.
He could barely see. His career ended, not just in defeat, but in injury. The trilogy should have been remembered as one of the greatest in heavyweight history. Instead, it's haunted by an eye poke the UFC doesn't want to talk about. Next up, Jose Aldo's 13-second loss, UFC 194, December 12, 2015. Jose Aldo, 10 years undefeated, the greatest featherweight alive. Enter Conor McGregor, loud, brash, unstoppable, hype. The build-up was months of insults, world tours, mental warfare. The fight, 13 seconds. McGregor lands a left hand that shuts the lights out on Aldo's reign.
Smiling.
The UFC played the clip everywhere. Every promo, every highlight, McGregor's superstardom launched in one punch. But Aldo, he never got an immediate rematch. His decade of dominance erased in seconds. Fans cried foul. His camp accused the UFC of favoritism. The UFC won't admit it, but to this day, some say Aldo deserved better. A champion's fall so quick, it felt like a setup. The hammerfist controversy, UFC 104. December 2009, Jon Jones versus Matt Hamill. Jones was destroying Hamill.
I made it to the UFC after only 9 months of it.
A showcase of talent, power, dominance, then elbows. Not just any elbows, 12-6 downward elbows, illegal. The referee stopped the fight, declared Hamill the winner by disqualification. Jones' first and only official loss. Dana White hates it. Jones hates it. Fans hate it because Hamill didn't really win. Jones simply broke a strange, outdated rule. To this day, the record stands. Jones, a man many call the greatest ever, forever stamped with a loss most people don't even count. The UFC doesn't talk about it because it's embarrassing. Not for Jones, for them. Nick Diaz versus GSP. The aftermath, UFC 158, 2013. George St. Pierre versus Nick Diaz. On paper, a dream fight. In reality, controversy. GSP dominated. Decision win. Business as usual. But Diaz wasn't buying it. At the press conference, he accused the UFC of rigging the fight, claimed GSP got special treatment on weigh-ins, even suggested the fight was fixed. The UFC shut him down, denied everything, but Diaz's rant went viral. His paranoia, his accusations, they became legend. The UFC wanted the narrative to be GSP greatness continued. Instead, fans still talk about Diaz's meltdown more than the fight itself. It wasn't just a loss, it was a conspiracy theory. One that UFC never wanted trending. The UFC loves its highlight reels, but the truth is the messy moments, the scandals, the chaos, the injuries, the controversy, they're just as much a part of history because the UFC isn't just about knockouts and belts, it's about humanity, the glory, the mistakes, the things you can't erase. Which moments shocked you the most? And which ones did I miss? Let me know, and if enough of you want it, we'll run this back with a part 2.